Hi, Ro.
Hi, Zaxers.
So, today we're going to be talking about the Netflix original movie that has pretty much taken the world by storm. It is called Tall Girl.
Oh, I'm in this movie.
And I'm actually in this movie. Like,
The kind
yeah.
of friends are in this movie.
Yes.
Are they kind of friends? Are the characters?
They actually are literally best friends.
Oh my gosh, it's not us then. Darn.
So close. We almost got cast, but they were like, could you guys be closer? And we're like, kind of.
I guess. Kind of.
A little bit. Okay. So you have not watched it yet. So
I have not.
I'm going to walk you through this movie. But before that, I'm going to say that this movie literally makes me cry 3 times.
Oh.
But it's still really bad.
Oh.
And on top of that, the things that make me cry add to why it's bad.
Good.
It's the whole thing that will make sense, hopefully, by the end. So, the main character, the tall girl,
Yes.
it opens up with this monologue where she's like, well, no, it starts with this weird, have you seen the trailer for it?
Yes.
Okay, so, like, what is up with that library?
What's up with that? Yeah.
Because, like, it's color-coded? Oh, hi, I'm looking for Jane Austen. Go to the blue section? What?
Yeah, it's the, hex decimal system. I'm trying to make a Dewey Decimal System reference.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Joke.
It's like that. There's like this old Seinfeld episode where Kramer's like, the Dewey Decimal System, what a scam that was. And this movie listened to him. He's so mad at it.
I know that episode.
I love it so much. It's like literally my favorite episode. Okay, anyway. I quote it a lot in my household. Anyway. So they're like, in that guy, he's like, oh my gosh, this book we're reading, it stinks. And then she's like, oh, it's all about alienation and not fitting in because he's standing out. And the guy's like, well, maybe he could suck a little less. And then she's like, but like, honestly, like, I think they thought that the parallel stopped at him feeling alienated, but like, no, it kept going. He was right. Tall girl could stand to suck a little less. We'll get there. So he stands up and he's like, hey, we just met. And then she stands up and they make the way that they film it is like she's like this monster. But like, you could see when you were sitting down because he's sitting normally and she's kind of hunched over. Like, she does not look comfortable in her seat.
I mean, it's not hard to tell somebody who's tall when they're sitting. If they're that monstrously tall.
Like, she's 6'1". Which is
not that tall.
It's not, like, she's not Shaq. She's...
What grade is she in?
I believe she's 16? Maybe? No.
So, like, a sophomore?
Yeah, but then at one point they say 3 years from now you'll be in college. I don't remember if they said, like, so maybe she's a freshman? I don't know.
If she's a 16-year-old freshman, that's old.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't remember if they actually say her age, though.
Oh.
But they don't go to prom, it's homecoming, so. Anyway.
Maybe prom hasn't happened yet.
Well, yeah, it's October, so, like, maybe, I don't know what the 3 years from now deal is all about.
Maybe she's a sophomore, because if 3 years from then, she would be in college.
Yeah, I guess she didn't have to be just starting college.
Anyway, that being said, like, I guess guys haven't really hit their growth spurt yet or anything, but, like, if she's next to a senior guy, some senior guys are, like, 6 foot. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I was, in high school, I was taller than my boyfriends until I was a senior. Then they were all taller than me. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, we can just. I mean, okay, we can just do this now. You're tall,
I'm tall.
and you were tall in high school.
I was.
Tell me how much this hurt you in life.
I I'm so hurt. Not I don't know, man.
So, okay, well,
I'm
here
less
so
I felt more like out of place not in high school cuz that's super weird, but in first of all in middle school, I got asked if I played volleyball all the time, which I didn't. So that was just kind of annoying. And then I was always the tallest on my dance teams because dancers are all really short. So then everyone was just staring at me the whole time. But I mean, you know, whatever, that's fine.
yeah, okay. No, that's about like what I figured. Okay, so some of the things she has to deal with on a regular basis. People will just walk by her and be like, "How's the weather up there?"
Yep, that sounds like typical high school movie bullying.
Because what's weird though about that is I'm like, who would say that to us like a random person? Like, I only said that to one friend in middle school, first of all, not high school, middle school, because she was a lot taller than me. But I'm also really short, so I
Yeah,
like, yeah,
you're allowed to say that because then it's just like, haha, what a funny goof because you're also really short.
yeah. And then like she'd be like, "How's the weather down there?" And I'd feel so tickled inside that I kept doing. So that was we were friends. It was fine. But if I just like went up to like random tall people, like, "How's the weather up there?" That'd be a weirdo. I'm like, what a freak am I that I'm doing this?
Also, like 6'1" is not that tall, so like maybe you're tall
Yeah,
around your peers in high school, but it's not like you're gonna be taller than a bunch of the teachers, especially the men. It's not
yeah.
gonna be like you're gonna be taller than a lot of people in everyday life. Like, calm down.
Also, like another thing she had to deal with. So like it's bad enough that like her school hates her for being so tall. But like her dad has like this crippling fear that she's gonna die soon. Like she's not gonna stop growing. Like took her to the doctor and was like, I forget what the drug is called, but like some drug that stunts growth. And the doctor was like, it can have like
Nicotine.
No, it had some big. It started with a D, I think. I don't know.
Nicotine.
Okay, all right. You sit down, tall girl. So,
Maybe you should stand up.
ouch. Mean.
This is how bullying works. This is how standing up for yourself works. Man, tall girl needs to learn a lesson from me. Take notes.
Well, that's why you should have started the movie. You were robbed. Because when you star in a movie, you also write it.
Yep, that's how that works. I mean, if you're like paid enough, I guess.
Well, actually, yeah, I guess people have starred in movies that they also wrote, but that doesn't help what I just said. So we're gonna forget about that. So okay, so he like has this like crippling fear that she's gonna like not stop growing, and then she's literally, but like, and I was like, okay, so we're kind of going places like
Going
problems
somewhere
with
with
being
this.
tall.
Yeah, like
But then
real problems.
But she shuts that down real quick. She's like, "Dad, if I was gonna die, I would have had health problems by now." And I was like, yeah, that's true, because like your doctors would have known if your like proportions were out of whack and like different like, and like when you get your blood work done, they can like see stuff like signs and things like that. So yeah, you're
I guess.
probably
I don't really
fine.
know how that works.
I don't like there's like a chance, but like it's really unlikely, I think, because like I think with other known cases, like they already have like some things going on, like at least like heart murmurs, stuff like that. Like if she's
But like,
been
how
like,
does she know that? She's 16, maybe.
I mean, if all your dad does is read up on, like, he like says like this person died at 40, and then like if he's like reading these articles to her like her whole life, she also knows the research he's done. I guess, I don't know, whatever. So then anyway, gosh, there's like There's also this bully girl Kimmy who's like, I'm curious like how much shorter she is than her, but like whenever they do it, they film like they make sure to film so like we know like she's looking up at her. Like
Oh,
everybody's
of
always looking
course.
like like and it's like at an angle and everything, and it's like I get it, but like you know
She's
what's weird?
tall, I get it.
But what's weird though is like when I talk to people who are a lot taller than me, I don't really realize until after a while that I've been like looking up at them because like it's not like it really hurts my neck a lot, but there is like sometimes when I'm talking to someone who's taller than me for a long time, there's a period where I notice like, oh wow, like I'm really like okay, I'm really short. Because like when you're living in your body, you're not really like aware of
Right.
your
Of the
until some
things that you do every day, right?
yeah, like you just kind of like you don't it's not like a big enough deal, I would think.
Yeah,
I
because
was
I've definitely been told by short people, "Oh, you must get tired of looking down to talk to me," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't even. Am I looking down? I don't even notice."
yeah. I think what was also like so she's beautiful, she's tall, like go be a model and shush, honestly. But literally okay, I'm trying to figure out like where to like exactly go with like my problem with this movie. But like there are the people who make me cry in this movie are not her. I never
Good.
cry for tall girl. Maybe
Good.
and but like everybody else I feel so like literally anybody else could have started this movie. Like if this was a movie about other people trying to raise this girl's esteem and in the process raising their own esteem, I think that would have been interesting. So she has this best friend who's in love with her, but he's a lot shorter than her. I don't know how, like, she's 6'1", he's like maybe 5'6", maybe shorter. I don't really know. I don't remember if they said his exact height. But there's a significant height difference between the two of them.
Okay.
And he is so in love with this girl. And, like, if it was his movie, like, being a short guy is a problem.
Right.
But literally
Which,
in this.
but like 5'6" or 5'5" is not that short in high school because guys grow way longer.
Yeah.
Really. But anyway.
But, like, but I think he might be, like, 5. I don't think he's 5'3", but, like, he
Oh my
might.
gosh.
I don't think he is, but, like, maybe. I don't know. I have such a bad judge of height because if you're taller than me.
Yeah.
One time I was talking with my friend about this guy, and I was like, you know, the tall guy. She was like, wait, what? Who are you talking about? And I was like, you know that guy we met, like he the tall guy. And she was like, he's 5'6". He is not tall. And I was like, oh, sorry. So I don't know how tall he is, but he's shorter than her, and like whatever. But like the only problem that Jodie Tall Girl has in this whole movie is a boy could never possibly love me because I'm tall.
Oh my gosh.
That
Are you
is
freaking kidding me.
no, I'm not. And it's like, okay, let's look at the facts. One, this boy, yes, he's shorter than you, whatever, but he's in love with you. Then,
Yeah, but she's blind to it because they're best friends and.
well, she
she's
knows.
just-
He tells her.
Oh.
He's like been, I can't remember, like he's basically Ducky. He's like been openly like, I'm in love with you. Go out with me. You're beautiful. And she's like, no, you're my friend and you're shorter than me. She also says, and also it's weird too because she, in the beginning of the movie, she's like, if I date someone shorter than me, it's only going to draw more attention to the fact that I'm tall. So it's not even so much that I don't like you. I just care more about what people think about me than going out with you.
Yeah,
So
it's like. So
yeah.
this sounds like a her issue because it's like nobody will love me because I'm tall, but also I don't want to date anyone short because I'm tall.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
like,
Yeah. And then her family, her whole family. Okay, so she has her dad. It's the dad from Diary of a Wimpy Kid and like billions of other things. But I don't know. Steve, son, Dane, him. And then the mom's Angela from The Office.
Okay.
And then she has a beauty pageant sister, Sabrina Carpenter. And Sabrina Carpenter, okay, is 5 foot. Is she 5 feet? Or she's 5'2"? Let me hold on. real quick because she's short.
Okay.
Not as short as me. Okay, yeah, she's
Check.
5 foot tall, and she's a pageant queen. That's a struggle because they typically average about 5'6".
Maybe she was a pageant baby and then she just kept going.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I thought they were going to address that because it's like she was going to have this moment with her sister. Like, I wish I was as tall as you because that would really get, like, I wouldn't have to work, like, I have to be twice as good as the other girls because I'm shorter. Like, I don't think that's really a problem, like, but, you know.
It could have been a plot point.
Something that we address. But, no, the whole point of her having a sister is that she's like, you never came to me for anything before you wanted guy advice, and now you're not going to need advice anymore. She's like, I just didn't want to come to you because you are always in the pageant. And she's like, well, you're more important to me than the pageant. And she's like, oh, okay. And then they're just, so then they just continue being sisters. But, like, they were before. They didn't, like, literally it was like, it wasn't like they didn't talk. They talked all the time. It was just like, I never felt like you needed me. But I do need you. Oh, okay. Like, alright.
Thanks for telling me.
Like, yeah, I'm glad we worked it out. As long as we verbalized it, now we can go from there. Okay, so enter this guy, Stig. He's a new He's a foreign exchange student from Sweden. He rocks a man bun. I will say that. Like, oh my
Okay,
gosh.
how many of these people look like they aren't in high school, though?
You know what? When they do some close-ups on his face,
Because how many high schoolers do you know that can rock a man bun, honestly?
Oh my, like, I don't know how old these people are. Like, she's pretty young. Sabrina Carpenter, I want to say, is also pretty young, because I don't think Girl Meets World was on that long ago. Maybe she's older. She might be 20-something. Oh, wait, you know what? She might... Whatever. They're not. A lot of them are not in high school. And also, even the best friend, he looks like a little bit older. But, like... Okay, so he's 6 foot something or other, right? And all the girls are so into him. And Jodie's like, a boy who's taller than me. And then she's talking to her best friend. And this is, I guess, where I entered the movie. Her short best friend. And it's
how far along into the movie is this that her best friend shows up?
Well, her second best friend. I mean, I think we're, like, still, like, 10 minutes or so in. Like, we meet all the main people pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, like, her best friend is so motivational. She's like, because, like, with that whole how's the weather up there thing, this guy, like, says, like, how's the weather over there? And she, like tells him off, like, look, every time you do that, it hurts her feelings, and that hurts my feelings, and you're a jerk, and you need to stop that. Like, or makes a whole big deal of it. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry, gosh. She's like, good, you're a bad person. And then she tells Jodie, like, you need to stop, because, like, one day you're gonna, like, realize how amazing you are, and I just hope I get to be there to see it. And this is one thing that's weird, okay? So again, beautiful, tall girl is like, no boy will ever love me, but then, like, her minority short best friend always says these things that definitely make me think that there's some more going on there that we're just not gonna hear about. I hope I get to be there to see it. Then later she's at lunch with the best friend who's in love with her, and she's like, you know, I wish one day my best friends would talk to me about my problems. She says things like that, and then we don't find out what's going on there. We just don't. Sorry, you're just the best friend.
Yeah, sorry. You're token.
You're literally just here to boost Jodie's esteem. But she dances in the hallway, so she's fine. Anyway. So then she's, like, gazing at Stig, and he's like, oh my gosh, the one time I want my height to make me stick out, he's not looking at me.
Oh my gosh.
And
gosh, I hate that. Please don't.
Well, and then her best friend is like, well, you know, he's from Sweden, you dummy. So the average height there is your height. You're just a girl.
That can't be true.
I don't know anything, but, like, okay, here's what's also weird about the movie. I'm like, I don't know if this is like good or bad for Sweden publicity, but okay, so he's like I said, he rocks a man bun, he wears like nice wool sweater, like he's a cute boy. And he's the best friend, Dunkelman, who's in love with her, finds out that he's housing him. And he's like, he is like, no, I love Jody. And she's falling for you because you're beautiful. I don't want you next to me. But
Okay, the average height of a Swedish female is 5'7". The average height of a Swedish male is 5'10". Like, calm down, movie.
Aw.
Tall
So
girl.
they literally make it sound like it's the Amazon over there. Because listen,
I mean,
because like when
first of all, that's like a weird thing. That's a weird thing for anyone to say, but especially someone in high school. Like, why would you just know that? And even if you didn't know that, why would you say that?
It was so like so he's like beautiful or whatever, fine. So he's like, Dunkelman, I don't know anybody here. You gotta like let me sit with you. And then he's like, well, next to you, I'm ugly by comparison because you're beautiful and literally all the girls want you. And then he's like, what? Like, back home, I'm a dork. And then Dunkelman says, oh my gosh, if you're a dork in Sweden, gosh, I can't even go there. And I'm like, okay, what are you saying about, what are you saying about America people? What are you saying about Swedish people? Like, I mean, I guess it's good that Swedish people are all beautiful, but like, and then if you watch it and you're like, I don't feel beautiful and I'm Swedish, like, that just seems bad. Like a bad message. I don't even know where to go with all of that subtext, but the point is, Stig is unpopular back home because he's not this beach blonde, blue-eyed, man bun rockin' tall guy there.
Tall guy.
Yeah. His movie would be... Oh, I'd hate his movie more, honestly. Okay, so... Then... So she's like... She wants to seduce him or whatever. So she goes to her Sabrina Carpenter and she's like, okay, pageant queen, make me desirable because I want to go out with this foreign exchange student. And then Sabrina Carpenter's like, you need to be willing to go all in if you want a foreign exchange student. All the girls are gonna want him, like sharks on chum. And I'm like, okay. I like
First of all, gross.
But also I had foreign exchange students in my school and like literally nobody cared.
Yeah.
So go off, I guess. So her and her mom give her like this makeover, like they go to the store, they do this whole montage of getting ready, and like we don't get to see the outfit, but like she tries on a bunch and she's like, no, these aren't me, and then she tries on one and she's like, yes, this is me. And then everyone's like, oh, you look amazing, but we don't get to see what the outfit is. But then that night, and like you saw the trailer, so you saw like the call that she gets, because he's like, oh, I'm Stig, I want to go to the dance with you. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I'd love to go to homecoming with you. And he's like, ha ha ha, I'm actually the popular girl's friend and we're mocking you. Which, like, okay, it's dark outside where she is. They're at the school gym. What were they doing? Go home. Why were
It was after cheerleading and sports practice.
I guess, but like, and like nobody's around with them. Like, this is literally just for the two of them, for their own amusement. Like, in other movies, it's like me, my best friend, and like a group of us are all like, we're calling her up, you know, which is like dumb, but like, it's showy, so it makes more sense to me, you know? Than just we're two weirdos with nothing better to do than harass this girl.
Maybe that's more real, though.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. I guess that is. Anyway, so that totally rattles all the esteem that her mom and sister spent a day working on. And she doesn't wear which is, okay, this is gonna just fast forward a bit. I don't know that we saw them buy any other clothes, really. Like, I don't know if we're supposed to assume, but like the one outfit she wears at the end, I'm like, is that what you were planning on wearing to school to seduce her? Because that was gonna be a mood. Alright. But I think actually, like, then, okay, so then she's like too shy and she's back in a ponytail and everything, but then she needs to get away from everybody, so she goes into like the theater room and Stieg is there trying to play the piano. And so then they realize they both love musicals. And
Wow.
like I love musicals.
I mean, who doesn't? That's so dumb.
Well, I mean, like I guess not everybody loves musicals. But like then anyway, she sits next to him and they start singing to each other. Like they just finish a duet from Guys and Dolls. I don't.
So is it like I'm pretty sure that happened in High School Musical.
I mean, it was like yeah, basically it was, but like. So they start looking at each other, and then Popular Girl, because like she immediately was like, "Foreign exchange student, you're mine." From like the second he walked into the halls, she basically.
I would love
claimed
if
him.
like the Popular Girl and Foreign Exchange Student started like went on a date or something, and then she was like, "Oh, you're really cute, but you're like a super like your personality is a super dork." Like that would be something, because right now this is all just like, how do they know that how like they're attractive? How do they know that they'll like them? Oh,
I
you're
mean,
a dork from your country because you don't look like everyone else. Why?
yeah, I mean,
Like,
I guess like, cause like they kind of make it clear that she's just dating him because he's hot and gonna make sure she wins homecoming queen. So she doesn't really
not how
like
that works.
he's just arm candy for her, which is like, all right, that's your motives are clear, I suppose.
I mean, I guess this is like a high school movie trope, but it's doesn't mean it's not dumb.
So many movies say like whoever you bring as a date is how you're gonna win, but it's like I don't think so. But I don't know. Anyway, so she slow claps in like, "Oh, what are you two doing here? Nice little show," or whatever she says. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we were just singing because like we like musicals." And then she like stares her down. And well, he's mine, or something. So that then like later she gets a call from real Stieg, but she like doesn't think it's real Stieg. So she's like, I'm tired of your games, bully guy, and I'm gonna kick you in the nards." She says nards, and I was like, okay.
Alright,
And
high schooler.
and
Sure.
then Stieg is like, what? And then she's like, oh, okay. Like, and she kind of makes a face like halfway into the rant, like she was like, this is gonna be real Stieg, isn't it? Like she knew the trope before it even started. And he's like, okay, well, I guess I don't have to call you right now. She's like, no, talk to me. And he's like, okay, well, I was gonna watch a musical, but like Popular Girl doesn't like musicals, so you want to come over? And she's like, okay. And so she decides to get all dolled up and she goes, and then Dunkelman sees her and he's like, oh my gosh, you look beautiful. Are we just studying together? And then he realizes that she's here for Steve. And so he like gets in the way of their date, but then Steve takes the trolley with her home. I don't know. It was a bus, but it looked kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it was a real bus. It just because they're in New Orleans, so
Oh, so it could be a trolley.
yeah, I think it was a trolley. Not 100% sure, but like they make this whole bit where she's like, I can't sit comfortably because my legs are so long,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm like, bruh, I literally can't reach things.
Also, like, you're the only you are not the only
Also,
tall person in
He's
the world.
taller than you, and he's sitting just fine. What's wrong with you?
Because she's all legs. He's all torso.
I guess. I don't know. But he was like not even like he moved like twice for her to get comfortable, and she's like, thanks, that's better. And I'm like, bruh, you're crazy. Okay. Anyway, so on this bus ride, they have this moment and they kiss. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, my first kiss, great, whatever. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then he goes home and he's like, oh my gosh, I have to like break up with Popular Girl because I really like Tall Girl. This is where things get a little complicated as far as like how I feel about people in the movie. Because Dunkelman tells Steve, well, remember, you used to be a dork back home, but here you could be homecoming queen if you stick with the Popular Girl. So
Okay.
he convinces Steve to blow off Jody.
Good. What a good best friend.
Right? And so, yeah. So then the next day at school, she's I think we're gonna be a thing now because we kissed. And he, like, doesn't even look at her. Or, like, he sort of starts to, but then does that thing where, like, he pivots his lunch tray to avoid eye contact. You know what I mean? Like that duck
Yeah.
out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And walks over to Kimmy and she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess he made his choice. But, like, she's now, like, wearing, like, cute clothes she got during the makeover and everything. And then Bully Guy, Popular Girl's best friend, is like, oh, wow. And then Popular Girl's like, yeah, who does she think she is? Like, wake up and stuff are gonna make her less ugly. And he's like, yeah, right. And then she's like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, well, look at her. I mean, she's so confident. She's feeling herself. And, like, and I was like,
And she's so tall.
well, you know what was interesting though? I was like, that's weird because he wasn't just like she looks good now. It was like he just liked that she was confident. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's. I mean, I guess it's like the really like dumb point of the movie, right? It's like, oh, you just need to be confident.
yeah, and like I guess, but like what's also part of that is it's just like so just for like the last 16 years of your life, people weren't making fun of you because you're tall. They're making fun of you because you just were like you were awful to be around. I don't know how you
That's
got
fair.
these two friends that you did. Because you're just the worst. But anyway, so he's like into her now, and then like they're at like some like parade or whatever. Um and like the best friend's like, what are you gonna do about Steeg? And she's like, well, he made his choice, I just gotta move on. And then Kimmy comes up to her and is like, Popular Girl. She's like, well, Bully Guy is into you, so we're going to the escape room on Friday. You should come as his date and, like, whatever. And then she's like, okay. And, like, she's like, I'm gonna make Steve jealous with Bully Guy. And then the best friend is like, what? You were just like, I don't need him. He does, like, what? He has a girlfriend. What are you doing? Why are you so desperate for validation? And then she's like, why don't you keep your opinions to yourself? And then she's like, you know what? I will. She puts her headphones on and she dances out of her life. And I was like, yeah, okay.
What?
Also, before this, she and Dunkelman had a bit of a fight as well. Because she finds out that he told her what he told Steek to do. And she's like, oh, wow, some best friend you are. And he's like,
True.
and then he's like, look, like, he didn't have to listen to me or something. I forget what he said. He doesn't really justify it, but he's like, I am your best friend. And she's like, oh, but if you can't have me, nobody can. And then he's like, he just gets like offended and leaves. And so now we fast forward to the escape room. And this doesn't really have to do with her being tall. This is just something that I don't feel needed to be there. So they go to the escape room and we get like a fun montage of them looking at clues. And I was like, the only thing
Ooh, yeah, I love watching people do escape rooms.
they look at it, they shake it in a funny way, like, ooh, I'm wiggling a piece of paper. Where are we gonna go next? Like, all right, people, like, it's not that fun. Like, I've never been to an escape room, but like, I think it would be fun. I want to go to
Escape rooms
one.
are great, but watching people do escape rooms are not great.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, they
not
tried
great.
real hard to dress this all up. But then Popular Girl pulls a book and it opens like a secret passageway, so they're in this room. And then she's like, okay, guys, I'm bored. I want to take a break. And then her best friend, who's dating Dunkelman right now, by the way, not that that matters,
Mhm.
it's also Invisible Sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, it's Invisible Sister, and my bestie was like, no. Like, she was like, okay. And I was like, we watched that. And she was like, okay, I didn't care. And I was like,
Oh,
alright. Well,
alright.
I mean, I recognized her. Don't take this from me. But anyway. So then, okay, yeah. So then they go into this room that has like 3 love seats
Okay.
for the 3 couples present.
Of course. Perfect.
And then so her best friend, Invisible Sister, is like, we have 12 minutes left to finish the room. And she's like, that's more than enough time to escape. And she sits down, and then Stieg sits with her, and they start kissing. And then Dunkelman and Invisible Sister start kissing. And then Tall Girl and Bully Guy start kissing.
Weird.
And I'm
like weird orgy kissing.
I don't. Well, not that. I was like, are y'all in 6th grade? You just find a room and immediately you all need to kiss each other? Like, what is happening? What are you doing? And so, but this is all so we can develop the romance, because Stieg keeps looking at Jody, and then best friend is looking at Jody, but like, we know that he's in her. I don't know why we needed to establish that, but fine. And then she looks at Stieg, but then she also looks at Dunkelman. But it's like, okay, I guess. Anyway, so then she's like, you know what? Actually, this is really weird. I'm gonna go. And I'm like, okay, you made one good decision this whole movie. But then they make like this joke, and I'm like, honestly, like, can we move this movie along, please? Because she like keeps trying to get out, but she can't like get out the door, and then like Popular Girl's like, if you're gonna leave, then leave. And then she's like, I'm trying to. And it's like, okay. So both of her friends currently hate her. So then after that, Stieg is like, oh, right, he talked to her at some point and was like, we should just pretend that kiss never happened. And she was like, okay. Anyway, fast forward to this after the escape room. And he's like, so that whole thing I said about us pretending the kiss never happened was an awful idea. Because watching you kiss Schnipper was awful. And then she's like, and it'll never happen again. Honestly, it was just to make you jealous. And he was like, and it worked. And she was like, okay. And he's like, I'm going to break up with Popular Girl for you. And she's like, oh my gosh, okay. And then he's like, maybe you could be my date for homecoming. Maybe we could do something tonight. And she's like, okay, but it's my sister's pageant, so I have to do that unless you want to like come and be my +1. And he's like, yeah, and then we could go to the party at Maya and Dunkelman's place afterwards. And she's like, okay, it's a date. Right. So they go to the beauty pageant, and Sabrina Carpenter is performing. And she notices that the seat next to Jody's empty. And so in the middle, like, this was dumb for a lot of reasons, but in the middle of her, you know, when they're like, how do you want to save the world? That whole thing. In the middle of that, she starts it, and then she literally just stops, looks at her sister and mouths, where is he?
Oh my god.
And then her sister's like, don't worry, it's fine. And I'm like, if he went to the bathroom and you risked it all because he's like, also, how did you even see that? You're on the stage, there's all these bright lights. That doesn't even make sense. But they needed us to know that she loves her sister more than the pageant. It's like, you had this conversation.
You already established this.
They literally had this conversation. Because she was telling her, like, he's coming to the pageant. Like, the scene right before this. Like, I know. I was really... But anyway, she won the pageant anyway. And then the dad... Like, here's the other thing. Like, so far, like, I've listed, like, 4 boys in love with Jody, even though no one could ever love a tall girl. Her whole family is obsessed with her. Like, they only seem to care. They don't even care about Sabrina Carpenter, really. It's like, she's got her pageant thing, that's cool, but, like, I have my pageant thing, I don't care. We all are working together to work on Jody's esteem. Like, the dad brought in this tall people's group, which is...
Oh my gosh.
All these tall people, but they were so much taller than her.
Exactly.
Couldn't that be, like, a wake-up call for you that you're fine? Like, these people
That's probably
what
her dad was trying to do. Like, look, you're not the tallest person in the world. Calm down.
Well, and, like, they just, like, it was really weird, because then after the pageant thing, he's like, I'm going to find that boy and I'm gonna kill him. And then Angela from the office is like, please don't do that. Don't say things like that. That's weird. What are you doing? And he's like, and then she was like, you'll go to jail. And he's like, good. And I face my sentence like a man because I don't just stand people up and no one stands up my door. He almost crashes the car because he's so mad
Oh
that
my
she got
gosh,
stood up.
calm down.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but that's the level of obsession. Her family and the four guys in love with her. Like, she's got a lot of people who their whole lives just revolve around her. But again, she's tall. So who cares? So then after the pageant, she goes to the party and then she finds Steve and she's like, so you're not dumping anybody. And he's like, well, I was going to, but he got blown up. And then like three people come and like are like, Steve, you're the man. And then she's like, okay, you just like being popular more than you like me. I'm leaving. And so she leaves. And then she goes home and she plays the piano with her dad, and it's like this nice moment, and it's like, oh, good. So you don't think he's like super cringe anymore? Or maybe you still do. I don't know. But you played piano together, so I guess you're back on track there. Then in the morning, Dunkelman comes and he gives her, he's like, I haven't been the best friend lately that I could have. But here, he buys her some high heels. And she's like, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
that's an interesting gift because like one, like obviously she has her his point is like, I want you to just embrace being tall,
Right.
which is fine, but like, does she like the shoes? Like, how did you know these were great shoes? Did you get help? Like, I kind of would have liked the scene of him buying the shoes
Yeah.
if we're gonna do that, but don't just act like it's normal for him to just buy her some shoes.
Right. Because, like, even. I have so much to say about this. Like, taking the symbolism out of it. What a weird thing to do.
And then it's such a bizarre gift, but like, okay, so then he says to her, she's like, I'm never gonna wear these, and he's like, keep them just in case, and he sets up the scenario like, in a few years you're gonna meet this guy, he's gonna be taller than you and nicer than you, and he's gonna want to take you on a date, but you're not gonna be able to buy shoes, and then you're gonna be like, I wish I had kept those heels he got me just in
Wow.
case.
Okay. That's nice of you and all, but, like, what are you assuming about my future? That I'm not going to have any money?
Well, no, he said he made the. Well,
Jeez.
he included that there was a snowstorm outside. She wasn't able to like go to the store, but somehow she was still able to go
Then
on
why?
the date.
Yeah, what? Oh my
Whatever.
gosh.
He said,
Oh, he's so quirky.
yeah. Oh. Speaking of quirks, I forgot like the biggest thing. He carries his school books in a milk crate,
Okay.
and that is kind of a big deal. Like when we first meet him, like in her monologue, like, I'm tall and this is my friend, she dances a lot. This is my friend, he carries his books in a milk crate. Forgot all
Weird.
about that. Okay, so then he has a black eye, and she's like, what happened? And he's like, oh, the party got pretty crazy and I took a slip. And she's like, oh,
Took
okay.
a slip?
I forget what he said, but basically he fell. He took a tumble or something. Then Invisible Sister, because like he broke up with Invisible Sister because she was like, you want to go to homecoming with me? And he was like, I do, but I don't because I'm in love with Jodie. And she was like, why aren't you dating then? And he's like, well, she's not into me. And she's like, so you're just gonna wait? And he's like, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, yeah. And she's like, okay, like, I'm like bummed, but like I get it. And I'm like, can this be your movie? Because you're such a reasonable young lady. Can we follow you around for a while? No? Okay. So she was doing like a vlog of the party, and she's like, Dunkelman, I'm taking this video so you never want to throw a party again. But then things get real. Because Popular Girl goes up to Stieg and she's like, why were you talking to Tall Girl? And then he's like, I messed with her. And then I like that I'm not really doing this accent. But then I don't know what I'm doing. But then she's like, what happened? Well, she said that she only went out with Schnipper to make me jealous, and basically that she's secretly in love with me or whatever. And so I told her, just to get her off my case, I told her I'd go with her to the pageant, but I totally stood her up. And then everyone's like, yeah, Savage, Steve, you the man. Standing a girl up and almost cheating on your girlfriend. You go. Because they say I messed with her, and at first I thought he was just being like one of the guys, like, yeah, I make out with other girls, we're nothing. But I guess he just meant that he teased her or something. I'm not really. I guess that's what he meant, but I still took it as him just being like, yeah, I'm a Chad now. Anyway, so then Dunkelman comes out of nowhere with the milk crate and swings it at him, but he misses. And then he's like, Dunkers, what are you doing? And he's like, and he goes off. He's like, you're a terrible person because you're like saying that she's secretly confessing her love to me and you act like she's so lame, but like when we're in private, you're confessing your love for her to me and you don't even know her, and she's so great because you don't know that like all these things that she does that make her amazing, and she's so much cooler than all of you people combined. And then bully guy's like, well, she's also taller than all of us combined, and he punches, then Dunkerman punches him in the face, and then he gets punched, and that's how he got the black eye.
Okay, but that's not like, what a dumb reason to punch someone, to be like, she's cooler than all of you combined, and she's also tall.
Oh,
how dare you say that about her?
Well, I guess he was just like, because he was getting, I mean, he already came in throwing a milk crate at one of the guys. He was just like,
but he missed, and he had advantage on that.
Because
she came out of nowhere.
What's funny too is that they realized that was confusing because she's watching the video and she literally rewinds the video to that part where he comes in so we can see it again. And I was like, thank you, movie, because you knew that was weird. So then, and like the things he's listing off, like why, and then like she has a tearjerker. I'm crying too because I'm like, you really love this girl. But also, can this be your movie now? Because you messed up, and you admitted that you messed up. But, like, remember, she was mad at Steve because she's like, you care more about being popular than be with me. But the reason you wouldn't go out with Dunkelman is because you care more about being unseen than dating a guy you like.
Right.
So, you're a hypocrite. But whatever.
Yeah.
But we don't really even address that. So then, like, Sabrina Carpenter, because she won Miss Louisiana, she like announces Homecoming King and Queen, and it turns out it's Popular Girl and Steve. And then prom night is going on. Also, Dunkelman lets her know that because like he threw that party at his house, he's grounded. He can't go to Homecoming, so he's not there. So in the middle of Homecoming, everything's going on. Jody walks in, and we see the outfit that she got. She's wearing the high heels that Dunkelman bought her. And she's wearing, like, this, like, blue, like, suit thing with, like, a frou-frou collar. It's, like, it's real extra, which, again, when I originally didn't realize that she got a bunch of clothes that day, I was like, because we only saw her, like, one outfit. Because she's like, right. No, this is me. And I was like, is that what you were going to wear to seduce Steve? Because that's a lot to put on to, like, Tuesday at school. But I think it stands to reason she got other clothes that she wore that were just more flattering to her. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so she okay, so then she goes up to the stage and she starts giving this speech, like same as Mean Girls and like every other movie where you go to the dance to make a speech, but with Mean Girls. First of all, she literally complimented people in the audience. And was like, right. You took so much time in your hair, and like, why are we all so mean to each other? We're all rock stars tonight, you know? And like, I realized that like, I just wanted to fit in, but it made me suck. So why don't we just be ourselves? That was Mean Girls. She literally gets on stage, and she's like, okay, so everybody, I just want you to know that I'm tall, and you know what? Ask me how the weather is up here, because honestly, the weather up here is great, and I realize that I'm amazing. And like, okay, good for you, I guess. But like, you didn't win anything.
And you also didn't really change anything, like...
You're wearing high heels and a weird suit thing and having your beautiful tall moment. But then also, oh, remember she was fighting with her best friend. So in the middle of her speech, she's like, sometimes I'm not the best of friends. And she literally just looks at her best friend in the audience and then she nods and like sort of like claps a little bit. So it's like, okay, we're good now. That was all that which to me means we forgot that happened, but we're in this deep and we're not gonna cut it out of the movie.
The friendship has been mended.
So easily. You just say some words. But at the same time, all the best friend wanted was for her to love herself. So I guess if that's really her only need out of a friend, she got it, I guess. So, Stieg, I love that he thought this was a move. So he breaks up with Kimmy. He's like, no, I can't be with you anymore. And he runs after Jody. And he calls her Yodi, but and he's like, Yodi, wait. And then she's like, what? And he's like, look, honestly, being the popular guy wasn't all that I thought it was going to be. And I want to start over with you. And she's like, and I was like, okay. And then she's like, I want to start over, but not with you. And I was like, honestly, like, you were trashing her at the party. You couldn't even just say, like, you literally could have said nothing. You didn't have to mock her. You were already popular just by being yourself. You went the extra mile to be a jerk. So, like, it's real cute. You thought you got to run after her. But whatever. So then she goes, and then Dunkelman is sitting at home. And she goes there, and he's like, wow, you look amazing. And then she's basically like, and then she's like, I've been rethinking my boyfriend list. And he's like, do I crack like 50% or whatever? And she's like, honestly, I think the only thing missing is that I don't get why you carry that milk crate all the time. So he says, I always knew I'd need it. And he flips it over so he can stand on it to kiss her.
That is the stupidest
and
thing.
So since he was a kid, he knew that he was gonna need it to kiss her.
Gross, first of all. Is this the other part that made you cry?
This is one of the parts that made me cry, because when I saw it, I was like, because I was just thinking about it, like, because she always bags on him for this, too. Like, to his face, in her thoughts. She's always like, that's a stupid thing. And he's like, but I love you, and I know that one day I'm gonna want to be taller than you so I can kiss you because I love you so much. And I was just like, this is so stupid, but I am crying. Oh, the other part that made me cry was when her dad was like trying to make things up to her. He didn't really do anything wrong, but he was just like standing outside her door, and he's like, I know I don't always go about things the best way, but I just love you, and I just want to help you, and like, you don't have to say anything right now, but like, I just want you to know that I'm here and I love you. And so he goes downstairs and sadly plays the piano, and that's why she joined him. And I was like, you love your daughter. But anyway. But like, nobody cares about Sabrina Carpenter. She won the pageant. She's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. She's doing fine on her own, clearly.
I mean, yeah. Actually, yeah, she's fine. So then that's how the movie ends, with him standing on the milk crate and kissing her.
Oh.
And that was Tall Girl.
I hate it. Honestly, as a tall girl, I have to say poor representation of tall girls.
I mean, like, I just, like, because they took it way too seriously. Like, sometimes it's like, okay, like, are you trying to be funny, or are you trying to make me feel like this is a real thing? But at the same time, when I was literally, like, throughout the movie, and I know that, like, I'm kind of biased, because I don't know if I've said this before, but I usually hate protagonists anyway, and I don't know if that's just because we get to see too much of them or what, but I usually hate them anyway, but I can still root for them and, like, pursue their dreams. But the fact that this whole movie, I was literally like, you know what? I'd love this movie would start Dunkelman. I'd love this movie would start her dad. I'd love this movie would start Invisible Sister. The fact that if it started the best friend that nobody cares about, Sabrina Carpenter. Anybody else could have been a much more interesting movie. But they just made it about this tall girl whose only problem is that a boy won't like her, even though 4 guys in the course of a week love her.
Honestly, the way you described it, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it was your description of it or whatever, it has a similar tone to me as F the Prom.
Yeah, I think, except the only thing different, I would say, is that F the Prom, I feel like you could add a laugh track to.
No.
Not that
No.
it help. It's just like, like in F the Prom, they like do like those weird jokes and stuff that is like.
No, because F the Prom was supposed to be like that. So adding a laugh track would make it like a million times worse.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be like, ha ha ha, we're so clever and quirky and whatever. But, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, no, it's just. I don't. They're both bad. Although they both had so much dead space. It would be. I think, yeah, no, the tone is kind of the same. Except I feel like. Which movie is worse? I don't know. I think. It'd be really. I can't decide which movie is worse because they both have so much going wrong with it. But, like. And F the Prom, I guess, would be worse because I hated a lot more people in that movie. In Tall Girl, I only really hate Tall.
So, here's my question.
Okay.
Did foreign exchange student, because that was kind of like a twist for me in your description of the movie, I guess, was like, it didn't seem like he was playing her when he was like, oh, I like musicals, let's sing together. Oh, I'm jealous, I'm gonna kiss you, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he was like, ha ha ha, I was just leading her on, because I'm actually popular here, and I want to stay popular. I was like, that seems like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they set it up barely, like, because I think we're supposed to assume that this was the natural progression, because he's like, Dunkelman, I used to be a loser back home, and then he tells, like, Jody, like, I want to be with you, but then he doesn't, and then at the party we see him high-five 2 guys. So now he's a monster. I guess. But it's weird, too, because then, like, during the whole time at the dance, I guess because he, like, because we don't really see his, like, reaction to anything that Dunkelman says at the party. When he's like, you don't know anything about her, you don't know her middle name, you don't know the color of her eyes, you don't know that she sits with the drivers in the front seat of the Uber because she doesn't want them to be lonely, and, like, all this stuff about her. It's, like,
bad.
And I'm like, okay,
also,
so
she's 16. How many Ubers has she taken?
apparently plenty to, like, have. Well, I mean, honestly, like, I would take. If Uber was around when I was going to the mall with my friends, we could take an Uber. Like,
no, that's so expensive. What is wrong with you?
Well,
and 16-year-olds don't have money.
No, but they have.
She
parents.
probably
like,
didn't.
Her
She
are
probably
really
didn't have a job because she's so tall that no one would hire her. Actually, this is a true story. Okay, so when I worked at Chick-fil-A and I was a director, I was friends with the director of operations, so he was going through our applications, the applications that we received online, and one of the questions, which is such a bad question to have on an application, but was, what is a common misconception about you? And we always got really weird answers, because what do you even put on that for that question?
Yeah.
On an application, and especially because most of the people we got applying were teenagers. So this one guy put, what's a common misconception about you? Because I'm tall, I'm not a good worker. What? We were like, do a lot of people think that about you? What? What a weird stereotype. What a weird thought process. But anyway.
That is an amazing answer. I love that. People think because I'm tall, I hate my parents.
I just love the causation. I don't even know why people
Like,
why you would
it's-
think that people would think that, or
Like-
and why people would think that if they do.
Was he like in class one day and a teacher was like, look, just because you're tall, you still need to put your all into this assignment. Or what?
That's definitely a line from Tall Girl, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. So oh, and then this is just like a final problem that I have, that like, can movies stop making people fight with their best friends in the middle of movies
No.
for no reason? Like, but literally though, nothing came of it.
Yeah, that it was character growth when she was like, sometimes, even though I'm tall, sometimes I'm not nice to my best friend.
I guess.
The best friend is like, yes, yes.
Yes, I have been acknowledged. Oh my god. That clap made me think of the ending of that Shia LaBeouf song.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know the Shia LaBeouf Cannibal song? Yeah, where he just
Nope.
clapped. You know what? Really? It's like a meme. It's like a whole thing.
I don't know memes. I only know one Shia LaBeouf meme.
You and your miraculous TikToks taking a brain space. Okay. Okay. So I guess that about wraps it up. Right? Like, we've been tall girls for the night. You for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm always a tall girl. Now maybe you'll finally understand my struggle.
I do feel like I definitely got to know you a bit more through this movie.
And I
Maybe that's why we're kind of friends, because you're awful.
And I acknowledge your existence on stage through this movie.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Okay. Bye.
Bye.